Ladies and gentlemen, next up, our next speaker, if I can have your attention. She was such a hit last year that she accepted our request to deliver part 2 and agreed to present on the industrial revolution of Telly, obviously referring to Nat Harvey of 7. Give her a massive round of applause, coming back. And maybe to respond to some of the themes that you've heard today, perhaps.
I've got so many notes, it's actually crazy, so I might get a little bit all over the shop, so forgive me. A little bit old school, I'll go traditional microphone, always reliable. So last year I spoke about tacos, and it was fantastic because a lot of people told me I went and bought a taco kit on the way home, so 10 out of 10 for effectiveness. But the key point of my chat was to talk about how brands can use the power of total television in more evolved ways. So using linear for the big reach and using BVOD for the capabilities of addressable, more creativity. And it was a bit of a rally call of sorts to try and get the market to remove our bias around television. And I was really happy with how KK, if he's still here, I don't give KK a lot of compliments to his face, so I'm disappointed that he's not here to hear this, but I thought it was fantastic how he was talking around the transition of linear audiences, that we have redefined what total television is, and so I would hope that after today there's significant advancement in how we define what television is, and that being broadcast linear, it also being BVOD. Now, fortunately, we had one amazing brand who lent in really hard in a converged trial, and I'm going to share some of the results of that trial today. In a minute, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant for a little bit here, but it's really positive and it's all about the opportunity, I promise you. But since last year, audiences have continued to fragment, but I would say strategic adjustments to adapt to those changes has been very slow or has been essentially quick fixes. And some of those have self-interest attached to them, and some of those are actually delivering great results for brands. Now, a lot of people will blame the delay in VOZ, but I can assure you that having the VOZ data from the 1st of May, because the cat was out of the bag earlier, so I'm not going to get in trouble for that, will not change how people buy television. Metrics have not evolved on from the last 20 years. I would say I see a lot of telly briefs because I work in a television network and run sales, and 95% of those will have a traditional demographic with a CPM target, usually a lot lower than what it should be, and then also looking at, I want to buy some top programs, and I guess the major changes over the last 20 years, where do I point it at? It's not changing. Oh, there we go. 20 years ago, everyone wanted Desperate Housewives. That used to tarp like a 25. Amazing. Now we're talking to, the AFL and 7 News. First things to sell out. Oh, we got another one. What if I hit both? It's like television. It's the linear and it's the BVOD. Anyway. And I couldn't help but give myself a plug there around television and go the Swans. But the majority of television strategies are still very siloed. They're platform-led versus being audience-led. But with the VOZ data coming in, you'll be able to access better intelligence around where your audiences are, because let's face it, we're here to sell more products for clients, and the only way to do that is to reach the right people in the right place. That's not new. Now, the industrial revolution of television, which is the subject of my talk today, has already started. The previous industrial revolution took 50 years. Ours will take, I think, at max 3, and we're already partway through the first one. Fortunately, there's already been significant advancements in technology through automation, through dynamic buying, through content strategies evolving. You just saw there earlier around fast channels. All of the networks are moving very, very quickly, but we know that it's not fast enough. What I would ask is that as we change our behaviours in this room as viewers, as media strategists, as brand owners, planners, buyers, that we do not ignore the benefits that television, again, linear and BVOD, deliver for a brand. That being, we reach millions of Australians every single day. Last night, 7 News averaged 1.5 million people. And to put that into context, earlier the first presentation said that by 2027 there will be perhaps 1.6 million people on a Netflix ad tier. That's a maybe, and they're not all going to be watching at the same time. I can give you 1.5 million people tonight. I could give you a lot more than that if you give me more of your money. But the fact is, television still reaches millions of people every single day. We also deliver that high velocity reach. It is a daily process. We shape culture and we change behaviour. We are not just curators of content. We create premium content that resonates with audiences. Just think about 7 News, or 9 News to be fair, or 10 News first to 5. And the role that news plays when there's a natural disaster or the COVID outbreak. People turn to news for that trusted source of information, because television news is still the most trusted environment for your brand, but also for Australians to get accurate information. I would also say, from a sport perspective, there's a major event coming up this year. Again, here's a plug, Women's World Cup. Get amongst it if you have an opportunity. But what we're going to see is the rallying of millions of Australians that will be exposed to this event that will change the livelihoods of young women around Australia. And the only way that you can deliver these sorts of moments is still through television. And despite the fact that audiences are fragmented, there is no platform that has been able to replicate what television can do for brands. And quite frankly, without television, every other media platform is weaker. Now, you saw this research earlier about the, I've got a little build. I didn't realise that, about the impact of television on other channels. And that if you took more money out of your television budget, again, that being television, being linear and BVOD, that your advertising campaigns would be weaker. And every other channel that's in the room today, I think I saw some outdoor people, is there radio here? You should thank television, because we make your platform better. Yeah, it's not funny, it's true. Yes, it's on my TV people, yeah. This is good. I've got more people on my side in this room than I ever have in any other meeting I go to. But then it also comes down to attention. And we know that there is a huge pressure on brands to be able to cut through, to be able to deliver results in a very stressed economy. Now, we know this is going to extend for quite a period of time. And also, I have QR codes. I thought I was really clever putting QR codes on the presentation, but everybody's had them. Anyway, television, maybe I'm a little bit behind. Actually, some people didn't, so to be fair. But Think Premium Digital put out a research report last year that talked about attention. And for brands, it's all well and good to be where there's lots of eyeballs, but if no one's looking at you or you're not getting any attention, there's kind of no point. And what we saw through the research, that it takes 12 minutes of viewing on premium video to be able to generate 1 minute of attention. On YouTube, that is 31 minutes. And on scrollable media, you're talking 5 hours. So I'd hope that you were getting a 95% discount off your BVOD rates when you're buying a social video. Because when you talk about effective cost per thousand, nothing compares to what linear and BVOD can do for a brand. Now, there's a lot of information out there. You've seen a lot today. Some make sense, some maybe doesn't make as much sense. But as brands try and navigate into the future, it's really important that we look at new ways of working. And like any new way of working in any industry, it's not going to be in a little box with a bow on it and we go, here, go do this, and the results are going to be fantastic. At Seven, we've issued many invitations to brands and agencies to do a risk-free trial on how we use convergence, how we use the VOZ data, because we do have access to it. I know you're all so jealous, but you will have it very soon. And now that invitation is extended to every media buyer and client in the room today. If you want to work on a risk-free trial, I'll guarantee your audience no make goods, which has been a little bit of a topic today, as much as I dislike talking about it. But we will work with you to learn how to use the data differently and how to get better results for your clients and for your own brand. Now, I'll share the results with you that from the test that we did with PhD, the amazing innovative team at PhD, I saw Emma earlier, and Unilever, who leant in really hard. Now, some of the clients that we work with, we understand that they have really strict, old school measurement and KPIs around low-cost CPMs. Oh my God, the minimum TARP, that has to go. Yes, anyone else agree? I'm sick of the minimum TARP. And around peak off peak and multi-channels and all that. And it's really rigid, right? And as I said, we've got to evolve how we're thinking. So we work with Unilever to look at how do we take an audience-led approach to a traditional television campaign using BVOD. Now, the campaign goals and the objectives here were to make sure that we could deliver 100% audience guarantee. And again, we will offer that to anybody who wants to do a trial of broadcast and BVOD with Seven. But what we did was we implemented a campaign that will mirror consumption behaviour, not one that is siloed by platform, because our audiences are what counts. It's not how they actually get it. And I did like earlier when KK was talking about One day I could be watching linear through 7, the next day I'll get a connected TV, pop it on, and then you think I'm different. We are not. Nobody outside this room considers themselves a digital audience or a linear audience. They're just watching telly. We wanted to leverage the different viewing behaviours on BVOD and to reach unique viewers, and overall trying to reduce duplication, to improve cost metrics through providing a stronger reach and frequency outcome with the same budget, and ensure that we could benchmark against a linear campaign only. And of course the results are amazing, because I wouldn't show them otherwise. No, I would. Warts and all. The results were incredible. For the Converge campaign, we delivered 20% higher reach than if we had have invested the same budget purely on linear television. And that delivered a stronger cost per reach outcome as well, which is what everybody is looking for at the moment. We talk about inflation. We can help you mitigate that if we're allowed to deliver audiences across all platforms. We do talk about make goods a bit, but you'd be surprised at how many brands don't allow their agencies to deliver audience across BVOD where the eyeballs are. It has to be delivered in linear television, which just seems crazy when we've seen all the data and you can see where the audiences are. Put your brand where the audiences are. Anyway, again, a positive, there's opportunity. I'm not ranting, I promise. There was also only 4% duplication, which helped, again, reduce the overall wastage when it came to the advertising budget. And we all want to make sure that every dollar that's spent on our platforms, no matter where they are, is working as hard as possible. Because, to be honest, and to be very transparent, if I can prove to you that by spending more money on television, but specifically on 7, that you're going to make more money, then you're going to come back and spend more money. Happy days. It's like the circle of life, but of the economy. And paying my mortgage, which I came off a fixed rate, so it's quite tough. Anyway. Now, the other piece that came out of here was out of the research was the importance of balanced reach. So unsurprisingly, we saw that the duplication was much lower when we were looking at the younger audiences, because a lot of them are watching linear television through a connected television. That's not a surprise, but the data backed it up, which is fantastic. Now, I just also wanted to get on to sharing some insights with you from the State of Screens research that we launched into market. There's a lot of people in the room who would have filled it out. We had 300 strategists, planners and buyers who filled it out. There were a couple of insights that came out of that, because as we're building, we're making sure that we're taking on feedback from the market, from our customers and from our viewers as well, because we have two customers. We have the viewer and we have the advertiser, and we can't live without either of them. And the first insight was that, and it's not very insightful because everyone's talking about it today, but media planners are looking at SVOD to replace audiences from linear television. Now, what we have seen is that simply introducing an ad tier has not been the game changer that people thought it would be, and there are still relatively low numbers out there. As I said, 1.5 million people in averaging over an hour. The reach was considerably higher than that versus what some of the reported numbers are on maximum reach, and that actually limits the opportunity for brands. I guess it's a nice compliment for free-to-air, kind of, putting ads into content, groundbreaking. I guess the difference from what we do is that we don't charge viewers for it. The second point is that nearly every respondent called out the need for one measurement system, that we can't move into a new world with a mishmash of data and someone using this and someone using that. And fortunately, I think most people are aligned to that. We know that if there's multiple platforms and multiple audience data points that people are using and sources of measurement, that chaos will ensue, and it's not a path that we can go down. We're not the US, we don't have 330 million people, and that they're a lot more complex in how they buy video. The best option is that we work with a gold standard and a platform and measurement system that has full transparency, transparency being the key word here. And I'm talking about VOZ, and it's not far away, couple of weeks, providing everyone's aligned and we're all good to go. And I think that we'll see that the approach that OzTam has taken around making sure that the data is accurate will trump the approach of progress over perfection. There is $3 billion spent in television every year, and it's important that that money is treated with respect, and that we do make sure that the measurement that you're getting is accurate, and that it is going to be robust to help you deliver better campaigns for brands. I had a little picture about, and this might be a bit old, but there can be only one. There cannot be multiple platforms, there cannot be multiple sources of measurement, there can only be one. Now, there are plenty of headlines about the television market and viewing, and it's almost getting a little bit too easy to shit-can television. And I'm not ignoring the numbers. I'm acutely aware of it. I see it every single day. But I choose not to think that this is doomsday. I look at this as a massive opportunity for brands. We are in the industrial revolution of television, and it is bloody exciting. Now, just a bit more context around some of the numbers. ACMA released a new study in February, I think it was February, that looked at total viewing of audiences. And we saw free-to-air television actually grow for the first time. And when you see, first time in 5 years, sorry. And when you see the BVOD numbers, it's really strong. Now, yes, the SVOD numbers are high, but then when you look at the actual time spent viewing, combining linear television and BVOD together will actually deliver you 54% more minutes viewed on a weekly basis. So yes, the future is changing, but we've got a foot in both ponds. Very fortunate. Strong in linear, strong in BVOD, which is fantastic. And when you look deeper at regional markets, you'll see that the data is even stronger. If I was buying media now, if I had a product to sell, I would be over-investing in regional television, and I'm not just saying that because we own a regional network. What we have seen through regional networks is that the audience is fundamentally different. And you can also make sure that you get a competitive edge because there's so many brands. I would say that 10% of brands that advertise in regional do something beyond spots and dots. So if you want to cut through as a market-leading brand, do it in regional. Again, we'll help you do that if you want. And my number's here later if you want to talk to me about a brief. Now, without a doubt, television is going through the biggest period of disruption we have ever seen. And one of the biggest, benefits of disruption is that it destabilises inertia. And it's really time that we destabilise ourselves and our thinking, that we remove our bias and create new ways to connect in with audiences. I think the opportunity for brands is absolutely enormous to stand out from your competitors and to leverage the power of linear to deliver mass reach still, and BVOD to find those harder to reach audiences and connect with them in new ways. This is not theory, this is actually happening right now, and it's up to you to be able to change that. If you want to take me up on the risk-free trial, there's my name, it's my number, my email, that connects to my LinkedIn profile. So whichever your preferred method of communication is, I'll be there for you. The revolution's here, get on board, let's make some magic, everyone.
Yeah, I don't need it.